Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Gary, and earlier this week I tweeted this, and that is what I thought could be a good starting 11 idea for England, and it was all off the back of John Stones' performance in the UEFA Champions League final. For the last part of the season, Pep Guardiola has been playing him in central midfield, so I thought if we did that, because he was phenomenal, he was absolutely phenomenal on the night, he was the man of the match, regardless of the official man of the match, it was an absolutely outstanding performance on the night, and it made me think, if England are going to play their plays in their best positions, that automatically puts Stones currently into central midfield. And it got a lot of people chatting. So I thought I would actually take a look at what is actually England's best 11 at the moment. So let's start with that tweet then. So I put Pickford in there, and I will not have a debate about Pickford, and I'll come on to this in a second because I think it's about four or five players within the England squad that are key starters, and we'll come on to those. Pickford's one of them though. I then did a back four of Lewis Dunk, Harry Maguire, Ben Chilwell and Kieran Trippier, and I know there's a lot of debate there, but we'll come on to that. The key there was the midfield, so John Stones in that holding midfield role alongside Declan Rice, then to allow Bellingham, who I think is England's most exciting prospect, free in that position behind Harry Kane to roam free. Then I will put Rashford on the left, Bukayo Saka on the right, and obviously Harry Kane up front. Without a doubt, that is a good starting 11, without a doubt, and it plays a lot of players in their desired positions where they play well for their clubs as well. The problem is though, and a lot of people pointed it out straight away, you move John Stones out of that centre-back position and England look light. Who comes in? I put Lewis Dunk in there, but you know, he's not proven with England, is he? And neither's anybody else for that matter. Let's take the squad back a few steps. Let's go for the key players really that regardless would be starting for England, the players that are necessarily undroppable, and this is what I've come up with. Jordan Pickford in goal. I can't understand the debate around Jordan Pickford starting in goal for England. I know he's got mistakes in him, but he's very rarely let England down, and he's just without a doubt so important to the way England play, the way he plays the ball with his feet, how confident he is with his feet. We all saw what happened when Nick Pope last played in goal for England, and he wasn't good enough with his feet. It's as simple as that. You could argue then Ramsdale comes in, but I don't think any of them's better than Pickford. We will look back on Pickford in an England shirt and say he's probably one of the best England goalkeepers we've ever had. So for me, it is without a doubt, without any shadow of doubt, he is England's number one goalkeeper. Harry Maguire, then John Stones. Now again, Harry Maguire isn't on the best of form. He still isn't playing for Manchester United, and I can understand, this is one I can understand more, but he's so experienced. Like Pickford, he doesn't really let England down. He didn't have a bad World Cup at all. And I genuinely believe England's strongest back four is with Harry Maguire there. I really do. You've then got John Stones, who everyone was saying you can't move him out of centre-back position. So in that case, he's a certain starter. The other starters are Jude Bellingham, who I don't think, if he's fit, he plays. Simple as. Declan Rice is the other one. And I think there's only one other certain, and that's Harry Kane. So that's 6 players, I think, who start for England no matter what. As long as they're fit, they start. That's my opinion, but I also happen to think that's the opinion of Gareth Southgate, and I would say that a lot of England fans will agree with that. And I mean England fans, I don't mean casual England fans, I mean England fans who go and watch England at every home and away game, ones that really care about it outside of international breaks, would argue that that is probably correct. So looking at that then, the only other option is to bring Stones back into that centre-back position. So then who plays in those other areas? So this is another potential team. So these are including players where I think a lot of people are arguing against. So that left back position, Luke Shaw comes in for Ben Chilwell. In that right back position, Kyle Walker comes in for Kieran Trippier. An argument for either, I completely understand. I think Luke Shaw for England has actually been criminally underrated, and he's done exceptionally well every single time in an England shirt. So I don't see many complaints with Luke Shaw coming in there. But then there's other options, isn't there? There's Trent Alexander-Arnold, who I've not even mentioned. Reece James, who I've not even mentioned. I think with Trent, he just doesn't seem to fit in England. I don't know why. I don't know if he enjoys playing for England or he doesn't. I don't know if it's just Gareth Southgate. I don't know, but he just doesn't work for England currently. So he wouldn't be in my best 11. Reece James arguably would, but he's never fit. He hasn't been fit for England in a long time. Not in a sense where he can play regularly for the England team. But you could argue if he's fit on a regular basis, he comes in that right back position. Up front, though, is when you've got your differences. So you've got the potential of Jack Grealish and Bukayo Saka, and then Phil Foden behind Harry Kane. I think Jack Grealish has had a fantastic season with Manchester City, so he's really pushing on the door, as has Bukayo Saka. So arguably they are two of England's best wide players at the moment. That's based on Premier League form, certainly. And you could argue Saka has been really good for England. Jack Grealish maybe not as much, but he arguably hasn't had the same opportunities as Saka has had. So I think the squad is the best starting 11 is somewhere between this one and this one. And it's pretty much those 6 and then who's interchangeable. Other options of this team here, so again, keeping Luke Shaw and Kyle Walker in those fullback positions, Marcus Rashford out wide, or, you know, swap Marcus Rashford for Jack Grealish if you like. What I'm looking at here is a centre-back position where Tomori comes in. Obviously, we've got Mark Gahey who could come in as well. Tyrone Mings could come in at centre-back if John Stones is going to play in central midfield. So there are centre-back options, but none of them feel as strong, do they, as Harry Maguire and John Stones in that centre-back position. And it is defence first with England. Personally, though, I do really like the thought of John Stones playing in central midfield because he has been phenomenal. So why wouldn't we utilise that? I really don't understand that because he has been that good. And not only that, it then frees up Jude Bellingham to play further forward, where I also think playing in that position is probably one of England's best players. So you're getting 2 players with this system playing in arguably their better positions currently and arguably playing the best football. So it would be really frustrating, I think, not to attempt to try this. Now, I know people are going to say immediately, because this is before the Malta and North Macedonia game, I am not talking about playing North Macedonia and Malta. Obviously, this is quite a defensive team. I'm talking about if we're playing a top 5, top 10 nation tomorrow, this is an option. And it's an option that I think Gareth Southgate should explore, because I think at the minute that midfield of Rice, Stones and Bellingham is arguably England's strongest. Phil Foden, I get people's calling for him. He just hasn't done enough. He hasn't done enough at City this year. He hasn't done enough in an England shirt this year. You could then look at Mason Mount, and he is very Marmite for England fans and football fans in general. He certainly hasn't done enough at Chelsea. Again, he's had a lot of opportunities in an England shirt, and has he done enough in an England shirt? I would argue no as well. So the answers to some of our problems are there. I know it does open up that issue at centre-back, but is it as big of an issue to not utilise players in their best positions? I'm not so sure. That is our best midfield 3 easily. Raheem Sterling currently out of form, but again phenomenal for England in the past. So those options out wide I think will always be interchangeable in a best starting 11, because they're not all going to be on the best of form. Calvin Phillips is currently the player who's playing there regularly for England, and you're even seeing Gareth Southgate picking Conor Gallagher, and I think Conor Gallagher and Calvin Phillips have been picked because we haven't got the options there. If you bring Stones into midfield, it frees up Bellingham to go further forward, and it takes Phillips out. You can't be picking players who aren't playing minutes, and it solves that problem. So I think there's a lot of wins to be had here, and I just think Southgate and England need to be a little bit braver. That centre-back position does become a little bit weak, but it's open for someone to claim, isn't it? But that's it for this video. I could go on all night about the different squads, different options. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all on my next video.